And Rebecca is from an amazing company in Blenheim. Pardon me. Rebecca runs a company called Made to You, which is a residential and commercial cleaning company. Rebecca is a really unique in the fact that she started her company during COVID because she needed to. Am I right?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Went out on her own, and then she decided that she was going to hire more and more people as she got more and more busy. And the really unique thing about Rebecca is that she has a very specific mission, and that mission is to change the way that the cleaning industry is perceived because of the love and the care that she puts into the way that she cleans her houses and also the way that she runs her team. So Rebecca's going to be sharing today a little bit about her story of how she got into this position and also about her journey in leadership. So I'd love you to share with us how specifically you got into cleaning, what inspired you in the first place?
I needed, first and foremost, to pay my bills, and I needed a job that was going to fit in around our children. And I, at the time, was caregiving for somebody and also working in an office. And those working two jobs at once, didn't kind of suit our family. And I was actually sitting on my kids' trampoline looking at the sky and thinking, I give up, what can I do? And literally my phone pinged, and on Facebook someone wanted a cleaner. And I thought, okay, maybe this is a sign. So I answered the ad, and it was someone that was in hospital, and it was an SOS from the kids. Mum and Dad are about to come home, we need to get the house straightened. So I went and did my first cleaning job, and I loved it. And from there I got more clients.
Fantastic. And you grew really quickly. I remember you telling me that the demand just kept on growing and kept on growing.
Yeah.
Share with me, what was the pivotal point for you when you really stepped into being a business owner that ran a team? Do you remember how that played out?
Oh, I remember I started to get really busy and I needed a hand. So I asked, like what you do, you ask your friends and family to help, and I ended up with my mum and my sister, and that was good, you have your family dynamics. But then I needed extra help, so that's when I had Sam come on board, and then it was like those dynamics. You've got the family dynamic and you've got the employee dynamic, and you have to be a leader. And that's when we started thinking, oh, I really need to do something, because it's not a family business, it's an actual growing entity that needs to have some structure if we want to make it work. So I think it was about then that we approached you to come on board and help us with all those interesting entanglements that we had.
Fantastic. And I do remember those interesting entanglements and how easy it is to get into that place where you're just figuring it out along the way. You're putting one foot in front of the other. You don't really know what you're about, but you're just doing the do. And then there's a commitment that was made in you when you said, okay, this is going to be a real entity and we are going to put in an effort to create the systems. And since then, you've built an amazing culture. So I'd love you to share with us, what's the culture like now, and what are the main levers to help you to maintain that culture?
Oh, I just had one of my employees is about to go on maternity leave, and I just asked her, I said, look, can you give us some feedback about how it's been for you? We want to hear it all. We want to hear good, bad, the ugly. And she said, I love my job. I didn't realise I'd love cleaning so much. She said, because I hate cleaning at home, but I love going to work and cleaning. It wasn't really like a job for me. And I thought, that was awesome. I mean, yeah, that's the culture I want. It's fun. You have your I mean, every job you're going to have some rough days and you're going to have some, good days. But overall, you want to feel like you're part of a team. It's fun. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I remember when we were talking about creating your culture, how care was the key element, and I know now you call your cleaners care agents as a result of that conversation, knowing that that is truly what you want to bring into the lives of your clients, to the lives of your team members.
Definitely. I mean, they're more than dunny divers. There's been that perception out there that cleaners are, I don't know, the lowest in the food chain, but really they're professionals. I mean, you go into people's homes, they pick up the things that you perhaps don't see. They get to know the clients so intimately and well, and they have to be respectful. They have to clean with empathy and compassion, and that is a really hard skill to find those, and you have to recruit those special people.
Yeah, well said. And I'm wanting to know from you, what's a word of advice that you would give to somebody who is looking at starting a business? How can you help them to take action and know that it's the right choice?
Oh, I guess if you want to take action, if you feel it's the call to do it, ask around. Gather your information. Get support. There's a lot of support out there. When I first started my business, I went and talked to a lot of business owners, and there were heaps of support. Surround yourself with positive people, because it is hard. Get yourself a coach like Danny. A coach is well worth it. It's an investment, because you do need to be able to talk through the hard stuff, because you have to dig deep at times. It's not easy. It's not easy on your relationships. When you do start out, sometimes money is low coming in at the start, and you need to figure out how you're going to make that money, but also how you're going to handle it and where you're going to go emotionally to get you through that tough times.
Yeah, that is exactly, you've nailed it. The first struggle needs to be backed up by that real calling, that commitment to, I'm stepping into the version of myself that's a business owner and I can handle this, and that there is support out there, that you don't have to do it on your own. And especially, I know, for example, in Blenheim, the Chamber of Commerce and the business trusts that are out there.
And networking. Join a networking group. I mean, I belong to Venus, and those ladies have become more than just fellow networkers. Some of them become friends. I can call them up if I'm struggling. They're just a lovely bunch of women.
Amazing. And for you, what have been the biggest challenges in leadership that you've found?
Oh, where do I begin? I am not a natural leader. If you asked me if I was going to lead, I would have laughed. So I am constantly pushing myself. And I think leadership is a journey. It's not an end result. So it's taking it step by step. It's always challenging, and you always got to grow as a person. But I think even in the last 3 years, I look at the person I was 3 years ago, and I'm a different person. It's almost, I'd hate to imagine what I'd be like in another 10 years. Yeah, I might be Jacinda Ardern, or yeah, you never know.
Yeah, that's a really good point, that taking the journey of leadership on, how much it grows us as people, and the leaders that I work with, every single one of them has something in common, and that is that they value growth.
Yeah.
Because of the constant and evolving need for you to show up at the next level, for you to have the right mindset, to be able to trust yourself to handle whatever comes up. That is definitely the pathway for some. Some people don't value growth as much, and leadership is really challenging because they keep on coming up against the same challenges and they're not willing to grow through them.
Yeah.
And one of the major breakthroughs, I would say, for our journey together is that ability to give feedback and to know how important it is. Share with us what kind of, what your journey was like as you were developing that muscle for feedback.
Feedback was really difficult because I didn't want to hurt people's feelings. I felt that, I guess because I was raised in a way that very negatively. My parents thought that they were doing a good thing by telling me negative things to make me better, that I'd work harder, to please them. So when I was giving feedback, I knew that that was a wrong way to be. I'm not like that with my children, but I felt that with feedback I found it very unnatural at first. And then you said that you've got to think about feedback like it being reciprocal nourishment, that it's about their growth as well, and that there's a kind way of giving feedback. And so we talked about those strategies, and we also practiced at one of our staff meetings about giving feedback as well. So I taught my staff about how to give feedback, and it was interesting. It was uncomfortable at first, but then it turned into this fun exercise where everybody gave feedback about some photos I had taken. It wasn't about anybody or anything, but it was about the photos that I had taken about some cleaning exercises. And it became something that we do now.
Wonderful. And that is quite a common story that I hear about people growing up in families where it is more criticism than it is feedback, but we tend to lump them together, and especially in New Zealand, beating around the bush and not wanting to step on people's toes holds people back from being able to activate their team to step into their greatness because they are avoiding those harder conversations that need to happen.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So we've been on this journey together for 1.5 years almost, and I just can't tell you how proud I am of you really committing to upskilling yourself and being that leader that is affecting the lives of all of your team members, your family. It's such a beautiful thing to watch as somebody grows and blossoms into themselves. Can you share what kind of experience you had working with a coach? Why was it important to you specifically?
To be honest with you, I had lots of advice. It's a bit like being a parent. You have a newborn baby and everybody gives you advice, but the journey's yours. And it was when I had the business, I got a lot of advice. You should be doing this, you should be doing that. And I know that the businesses, it was working for their business, but I felt I needed a bit more structure, a bit more guidance, and somebody to hold my hand and walk alongside me on that journey. Yeah.
Thank you, and it's such an honour because I know that there is a lot of advice out there, and that's the power of coaching as well, is for me to help support you to own your journey, because coaching is primarily asking questions. There's a little bit of mentorship in there, but for the majority of the time you're coming up with your own answers, and it's really teaching you that you do have your own answers, and that's what's special about having somebody guide you that isn't perceiving it through their own filter.
No, exactly. Yeah, you asked me some pretty hard questions, Danny. Dug into some pretty dark places and challenged me.
And that's where the greatest results are.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So moving forward, looking at the future, what's the next step for you from here?
I'm hoping to recruit some more staff members. I want to grow the business naturally. And hopefully we've talked about some other options. Who knows? Yeah.
Forever growing.
Forever growing. Yeah, forever growing. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Rebecca, and it's been really lovely to just have the conversation, because I know that you're grinding hard, or maybe grinding is not the right word, but forever showing up in the background, doing all of this work for yourself and for your team and for your family, and really great to acknowledge how far you have come on that journey, and like you said, how you can really transform who you are as a person and completely change the way that you're showing up when you do the work, you do the mahi, you're really putting yourself into that position where you are constantly growing and anything is possible.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.